Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today, we're taking a closer look at a GBX100, a true revolution when it comes to square G-Shocks. I also did a tutorial on how to use this watch, and you can check that out by clicking the link in the corner of the screen. This will also probably become my standard giveaway watch, as I do giveaways every 10,000 subscribers. But back to the watch itself. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this one. On the one hand, I love it, as I see it as a modern reissue of the G7800 that I also reviewed and owned, and find to be one of the coolest squares ever made. The similarities between the two are incredible. The same stainless steel bezel, the dedicated light button, and they both have revolutionary screens that put to shame ordinary square models. Even the venting on the strap of both watches are done differently to what we're used to. And even though the 7800 is loaded with functions, this thing raises everything to another level. But given the age of the 7800, it is to be expected. Another reason to love this is the already mentioned screen. It uses the same screen technology we have seen on the Rangeman and the GBX100 I reviewed. It does have its drawbacks, like the fact it is not fast enough to display 1/100th of a second, which is why the stopwatch on this can only measure down to a second, but it is a really small price to pay for a screen as legible and as customizable as this one is. Using dot matrix technology, it can display a lot more information than a traditional LCD display can, while still using much less energy than screens used on regular smartwatches. If you follow my channel, you know I'm not a fan of negative displays, but with this, I wouldn't want it any other way. It really is that good. Then the way this thing looks. With a combination of resin and steel, it has taken the timeless and iconic square design and made it more modern and somehow more badass. I love the way this thing looks on and off wrist. The etched and painted markings on the steel bezel really pop and give a premium look to the watch. It is also incredibly comfortable to wear and pretty light, making you forget you're wearing a watch altogether. Then the functions, from tide graph moon phase function to sunrise sunset data and vibration alerts, this is loaded with both gimmicks and really useful functions, with my favorite being the programmable countdown timer. Settable in 1-second increments, it has 5 consecutive timers with up to 20 auto repeats, making it ideal for interval training. It also comes with a step counter that can be used for calculating speed and pace, as well as distance when you go for a run. On top of that, it uses Bluetooth to connect to your phone so you can both set everything up and receive notifications to your watch from your phone. So as a watch, and especially a G-Shock watch, this thing is amazing and a definitive step in the right direction. But now, sadly, it's time to cover the things I don't like. Firstly, this is not solar powered, nor does it have a plug to charge it via the USB, so you will be changing the battery on this every 2 to 3 years. A small nuisance, but a nuisance nonetheless. When I first opened it, I thought I must have read the specs wrong, as the area around the screen looked a lot like a solar cell, but sadly it is not. Then the smartwatch function. Despite having the ability to set everything up on your phone and receive notifications is cool, it is done in a pretty bad and limited way. The app is very slow and laggy. The notifications pop on your screen, but you can't read them directly. Instead, you have to go all the way to the notifications screen to read them, and it is the last screen in the menu. Also, despite having some display customization, you can't change the date order to display date first followed by month. I have no idea why Casio decided not to include that option. So as a smartwatch, this is not very smart, and it clearly shows a smartwatch without a touchscreen is not really that practical. As an activity tracker, it is no better. Despite having the ability to use the phone's GPS to track your movement, it is limited to running only. I had this on while riding my bike, and it kept giving me a pace of about 2 kilometers per hour, and despite me covering 10 kilometers, the watch and phone somehow recorded 1.5. That made me realize the watch relies on the acceleration sensor primarily, ignoring the GPS of the phone. Since it also lacks the heart rate monitor, it cannot really be seen as a competition for true activity trackers on the market. And finally, this is another model where Casio included a plastic buckle, which is something I really don't like, and I don't know why they keep doing it. But in conclusion, I can say this is a pretty crippled and pretty limited device if you look at it as a smartwatch or an activity tracker. But if you look at it as a regular G-Shock, it is simply amazing, with the only real drawbacks being the lack of solar power and the already mentioned buckle. Anyways, that completes this week's review, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video,